deadbolts, padlocks, Mortise locks, cam locks, combination locks, to name a few. Why so many locks? Well, I purchased and fashioned them in response to trauma. Yes, trauma. When I was 15 years old, my little brother died. He died by suicide. He was 12. And I was never the same. Since losing my little brother, it's as if I've had this very peculiar relationship with suicidality. It's like a strange push and pull, as if it's pulling on me constantly. But I've learned how to resist, sometimes with more strength than other times. But it pulls and it pulls, reminding me of its presence, trying to convince me that it's a viable option. I think it's fair to say at this point that I experience chronic suicidality. But I've learned through the years how to keep it out. And I do so by adding locks, lots and lots of locks. And what is a lock? A lock is anything that keeps you alive, really. It can be something small and intimate, like a gratitude journal, or something more complex, like reaching out to a psychiatrist and getting on meds. It's whatever keeps you alive. And I have perfected the art of locks at this point. And my sitting here before you today is a testament to the fact that these locks have kept me safe. They've protected me from what at times was passive suicidal ideations and what at times was profound suicidality. Oh, suicide, you'd like to enter. Entrance denied. Oh, but you insist. I thought you might. But that's okay, I'm prepared for that too. See, at this point, I can keep most anything out my front door. From the size of a mosquito to the size of a full-grown, fairy tale-bred, fire-breathing dragon. Still not convinced? There's always one person that needs additional convincing. Well, I think that I can help you to better understand my relationship with locks if I share a couple of stories with you. Stories about what it's been like for me navigating the healthcare system. You see, I'm transgender. I'm a trans man, which in my case is to say that my sex assigned at birth was female, but my gender identity is male. And I've been trying to find and receive gender-affirming care for years, but I've struggled because in order to receive care, you have to first receive a diagnosis of gender dysphoria. Does anyone here know what gender dysphoria is? It's a psychiatric diagnosis. It's one where a person experiences psychological distress as a result of the incongruence between their sex assigned at birth and their gender identity. And you have to receive this diagnosis before you can receive care. You have to say, I'm sick, before you can receive care. And I really struggled with that because I didn't feel like I was sick. And even if I were sick, I didn't feel like being transgender was the cause or a symptom, but simply a statement of fact, who I know myself to be. But that wasn't sufficient. Not sufficient to receive testosterone, not sufficient to warrant surgical intervention, not sufficient to be believed by a healthcare system that by and large just takes people at their word. Okay, let me say it another way. I experience back pain. My doctor has never required a notarized affidavit from my spine. I'm lactose intolerant. My doctor's never required that I chug a gallon of milk under observation. Heck, I'm allergic to cats. My doctor's never required me to bring a cat into the office so they could watch my throat close up. But the moment I say I'm transgender, my word is no longer sufficient. Should I not be believed simply because I'm transgender? Well, no. So then why is it that you don't believe me when I say that I've always been different? And why can't this difference be seen as nuance instead of pathology? It's enough to demoralize even the strongest of persons. But you can't receive the care if you don't get the diagnosis. So I went through the process. I completed the assessments. I answered the invasive questions. I went through the process and I received the formal diagnosis of gender dysphoria from a psychologist, which is infuriating because I am a psychologist. But never mind that. I got the letter. And that probably wouldn't have been so troubling for me if I hadn't already been ripped to shreds by the healthcare system in ways that were completely avoidable. Like the time I was searching for a gender-affirming provider, I searched and searched high and low, and eventually I found an LGBTQ plus clinic. I went on the website and there was all this affirming language and all these testimonials about the doctor and how affirming she was. So I was like, oh man, this is great. This is exactly where I want to go. I called and I set up the appointment. And it took them a while to get me in because it's a specialty clinic and you gotta wait your turn. But when my day came, I was on top of the world. I remember walking into the building and all of the walls were adorned with rainbow flags. They even had a trans flag. So I felt seen, I felt safe. And so I go up to the front desk and I received the paperwork. You know that admission paperwork that they make you fill out anytime you go see a new provider? Yeah. I went and I got the paperwork and I see the paperwork and I'm like, this is glorious. It literally asked for your chosen name and for your pronouns. So I'm like, oh man, I'm on top of this, right? So I'm filling it out confidently. Chosen name, AC, pronouns, he, him, his. And then I went through the pages and pages of stuff that they make you fill out when you go to see a new provider. And then I take my paperwork up to the counter, huge smile on my face. This is the moment I've been waiting for, right? And I hand the paperwork to the lady behind the counter, and without even taking a glance at my papers, she says, "Thank you, ma'am. The doctor will see you shortly." She ma'amed me. I was devastated. My heart dropped down to my heels. I didn't know what else to do. I just turned around and I went and I sat down, quiet, feeling defeated. But then I started to give myself a pep talk. I mean, sure, they could use some additional training, but I'm not really here to see the person behind the counter anyway. I'm here to see the doctor. And I read the testimonials, so I know the doctor's affirming. So, right, chin up. You've got this. Just be focused, right? They're going to call you to the back and you'll get to have this amazing experience. Now, bear in mind, I'm there for what is by far the most traumatic procedure that I can endure. A well woman's visit, a pap smear. I am terrified, so terrified that my partner actually agrees to go to the back with me and hold my hand through the procedure. I was that terrified. So they called me to the back and I'm laying on this table, feeling exposed, both physically and emotionally. And I'm beginning to panic. I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can do this. I'm pretty sure I can't do, I don't think I could do this. And I realize I need to calm my central nervous system down. And I'm like, and in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm holding onto my partner's hand for dear life. And then the doctor walks into the room, confident, speculum in tow. I feel like my heart's about to beat out of my chest. And before she can even begin the procedure, she misgenders me. My partner corrects her. She misgenders me again. My partner corrects her again. She laughs it off. She misgenders me a third time. At this point, I'm just laying on the table, distraught, not knowing what to do. And so I did the only thing that I knew to do. I added another lock. Now, in this instance, the adding of a lock was me avoiding the healthcare system. Like at all costs. I left that day and I never went back, not just to her, but to any other PCP for years. I just avoided the healthcare system. But I learned really quickly that that wasn't sustainable because I had legitimate healthcare concerns. Not the least of which was I needed to start testosterone. I really needed my medication. And the only way I could get that is if I had a provider. So I decided I would find another provider. I searched, and this time I found a nurse practitioner who specialized in gender-affirming hormone therapy. I mean, literally, this is one of her specialties. So if I'm not safe with her, I might as well just stop trying. So I meet with her, and the very first thing that I notice is that she has kind eyes. And when I talk, she listens, like really listens. So my guard starts to come down, and I start to feel safe. And then it happens. She misgenders me too. At this point, every insecurity that I have is bubbling up to the surface. Like, it must be me. Something must be wrong with me, right? I mean, maybe it's the feminine features or the long hair that I had at the time. It must be me. I must be broken. But if I don't continue to see this provider, I'm not going to get the testosterone. And I don't have the ego strength to find another provider, so I decide I'm going to continue to meet with her. She says to me, well, you really need an annual physical. I said, okay, well, she didn't mention a pap smear, so I think I could pull that off. And she says, based on the history of cancer in your family, you really should have a mammogram. A mammogram? Are you serious? So I have to go again and be exposed and be vulnerable. Be vulnerable and exposed not just physically but emotionally. Another opportunity for them to get it wrong. But I didn't really have a choice, so I agreed to the mammogram. For reasons that I don't even entirely understand. Maybe it's because she had kind eyes. Maybe it's because when she misgenders me now, she self-corrects. I don't know, but I agreed to the mammogram. And then I go home and I do the only thing that I know to do. I add more locks. At this point, I'm adding the most sophisticated locks that I can get my hands on. I'm talking facial recognition software, biometric fingerprint scanners, a host of smart locks. If it's a lock, I'm putting it on my door. I'm using it. And then I take a step back because I'm like, wait a minute, I'm still alive here, right? So, that's got to count for something. So I can give myself some credit. I'm looking at my handiwork. I take a step back to admire the fortress that I have built. And just as I am sitting there, admiring my handiwork, boom, the back door gets kicked in. The mammogram, it shows that I have a rare and aggressive form of breast cancer. The treatment options are limited. The risk of recurrence is high, and it's already began to spread to a lymph node. I have to begin treatment immediately. The news knocks the wind out of me. And then I begin to do the only thing that I know to do. I start putting locks on my back door. Now I know that I have to keep suicide out the front door and cancer out the back door. And so I'm putting these locks on my back door feverishly. And as I'm putting these locks on the back door, I start hearing a violent banging at the front door. Suicide is trying to break the door down. The pull is so strong. And I realize in that moment that I can't do this alone. I'm only one person and I've got two doors. So I'm looking out the peephole and I see you. And I'm asking you, will you help me guard one of my doors? And I know you're probably like, what does that even mean? That's a fair question. You see, when you guard someone's door, you give them the opportunity to breathe, to heal, to recover. And that's really what I need more than anything, right? And it's practical things that make all the difference. It's using the correct pronouns and the correct name every single time. It's correcting misgendering and dead naming if you witness it. It's taking time to learn about trans-affirming care and advocating for it. It's creating safe places for people like me to get care. It's not advertising yourself as trans-affirming if you haven't actually received the appropriate training and challenging those that do. It's the tangible things. And that's what I need. And so I realize now that all this time I've been collecting locks, but a lock is a thing. A lock could only take me but so far. What I need is a person. What I need is you. And so as I sit here today, I understand that locks alone are not enough to keep me alive. But a person might just do the trick. And so I'm asking you, no, I'm pleading with you. Will you be my person?